Meanwhile. I was assured that Star Trek Discovery Season 3 was going to be canceled by my inside and outside and Outlander sources, so I don't know what's going on anymore. I'm just saying that they announced Star Trek 4 and then Paramount shelved it, so I'm just saying. I'm not saying that's what they're doing with Discovery. I'm just saying it. You know, whatever. Comicbook.com, it's bullcrap. It's owned by CBS, so fake news. Star Trek Discovery equals an STD on the franchise. Get it?
Show me that smile again.
Show me that smile.
Don't waste another minute on your crying.
Oh, my eyes hurt from wearing those glasses. I don't even wear glasses. Hey everybody, Ketwalski here, checking in with a video update, another part 2 speculation video with also announcing that Star Trek Discovery Season 3 has been officially announced, so we're super excited around here, yay! The Season 2 has gotten quite a bit better from comparison to Season 1, so I'm excited to see that they, as the show creators, have the opportunity to make one additional season to kind of, relieve some pressure and some tension probably on the set there, which I'm sure is really grateful for everybody there that they finally got the official notification that they have been renewed. Along with the new announcement, we also get word that there's going to be a new co-showrunner, which is essentially code for Alex Kurtzman's going to be focused on the other parts of Star Trek, and this person's probably going to come in and try to take over Discovery. We don't know much about this person. Her name is Michelle Paradise. She's got a very small rap sheet about television productions, but she has some experience in the industry. She has, some degrees. So we'll see what happens. You got to get experience somewhere. I'm not going to fault on her by having lack of experience. It is strange that they would give somebody with lack of experience the most popular franchise that CBS currently has in their repertoire. But, whatever. We'll see what happens. I don't know anything about this person, so I don't want to sit here and say the doom gloom about everything that's going on with Discovery. So we'll see how she works, and we'll see how really the rest of Season 2 plays out, because as we get towards the middle of Season 2, we're essentially going to be running right into full-blown Kurtzman mode of what Star Trek looks like under him. So without any influence really on from the other runners that have previously left. So we'll see what happens. All right, so jumping off of that point into another point, as the theory videos continue to spin around YouTube and Twitter and Facebook and all this other stuff about what's going on with the Red Angel, another idea popped into my head that I wanted to talk to you guys about. And I'm going to throw up a graphic and then kind of explain a little bit here of what's going on. So let's pop that up there real fast. So this may seem like a little complex to some, but I want to break it down a little bit for you. So a while back, I made a video about Star Trek First Contact the film, resetting the timeline and essentially creating an alternate universe. When the Enterprise went back to stop the Borg from assimilating Earth, they affected things in the past and started up a whole new timeline. That's where this kind of takes place at. So my theory here is that when First Contact and the Borg go back in time to stop Zefram Cochrane's flight from happening, that occurs, and then an offshoot of the timeline begins, and the first iteration within that offshoot is Star Trek Enterprise, the NX-01 series that was under the command of Captain Jonathan Archer. This is the first show and the first thing that happens in this new, slightly altered timeline. This is something that would be kind of a divergence of a bit of the prime timeline, in that most things are still occurring the same way, but some things are slightly different, just so that the eyes can see it. Some big things that pop out to me as indicators that Discovery is connected also to this timeline thing, as well as you see a lot of things that happened in Enterprise that people were like, well, this breaks canon in some variations. The big one, of course, being that they had an interaction with the Borg, and there was scans run on the Borg ships. People were killed on Earth from the Borg. They assimilated a ship. They fought off for the Enterprise, and then we know for a fact that they sent a message off deep into the Delta Quadrant to probably, the other collective, which, they don't know that on the NX-01 Enterprise, but we know that as fans. So it's fair to say that Starfleet would probably take into consideration what they just uncovered. So because, in my mind, the timeline has been slightly shifted in that were Borg now present on Earth and caused these few episodes of Star Trek Enterprise, Starfleet is going to react in a certain way to what's going on. In my mind, we're going to see things like, I don't know, because they scan the ships, we might see some changes in the technology that the ships have. We may see a more ready presence of Section 31, which is maybe why people know about it. Maybe Starfleet needs them to be more beefed up to prepare for the onslaught of a potential mechanized army that's coming for us. And then you also have additional augmentations like you see on Detmir and a few other folks, like these different kind of things that maybe were influenced by the technology that we scanned and uncovered when studying the Borg. And then you also have the inclusion of 2 types of robot-type characters that, again, weren't really around supposedly during this time period of Star Trek's history, but could have been influenced by the information gathered by whatever scans and information that the NX-01 Enterprise period of time uncovered. And that's why things look a little bit different. That's why things are feeling a little bit different, but also kind of the same. And that's why we're seeing other technologies that we didn't have before, because it was influenced by the information that was gleaned off of the Borg technology that we scanned during that incident during the Enterprise show. And this theory was already this concept of scanning technology and then having it affect everything else was referenced a lot in why everything is so much larger in the Kelvin universe, is because they dealt with the Narada, and then everything kind of shifted based off of the signals and sensors and everything that picked up off of the Narada ship when it came back into the TOS era. So this concept isn't super foreign to Star Trek, and it's also very much connected to what Kurtzman was working on. So now let me tie that into what Kurtzman's currently working on, which is Star Trek Discovery. So not only does all those things affect Discovery's look and feel, but the red person, in my mind, a theory for the red person, could be someone who is attempting to get Starfleet prepared to prevent the Borg from going back in time in the first place during the events of First Contact. Whether they're trying to build up more military things, trying to vector in perhaps a stronger alliance with the Klingons and the Romulans in order to prevent the Borg from going back, or whatever it is, this person has made several incursions into the past and with the intention of gearing everybody ready to prevent the Borg from going back in time and affecting the timeline. And then, of course, if this red person succeeds, then the Enterprise, 1701, would never have had to go back in time, and then that timeline would continue normally, and then would start the whole thing all over again, because then it would restart the timeline again and lead it so that the, Federation was unprepared for the Borg, so they would go back again, and then the Enterprise would have to go back again, and then restart this whole giant loop all over and over again. And, it's basically kind of like Looper in a lot of ways, where one person has to basically step out of it. In that case, the movie, it was a sacrifice, in order to prevent essentially this one giant loop from occurring in various ways. So anyways, that's my other theory. That's connected back to the First Contact theory. I just wanted to throw that in there with some other ideas that I was coming up with. This really kind of gleaned off of me after I watched the Popcast theory video that did kind of the same thing that I'm doing, but instead of it being First Contact, that was the kicker. It was the Kelvin movie universe and the Kelvin's older Spock that was working this kind of angle. So just another theory to be talking about, another thing to be thinking about as we gear up for the rest of Star Trek Discovery Season 2 and prepare ourselves for Star Trek Discovery Season 3. So I'm very excited for all of these things, and I can't wait to hear what you guys and gals think about this theory, and tell me how excited you are about Star Trek getting a renewal. What do you expect to see at the end of this season and going into the future? I'm curious to hear about that as well. And I will see all of you guys and gals next time.